Yo, what's up, my brother? I genuinely believe that you probably already know what you're supposed to do with your purpose right now. Like, you know which direction you need to take. But the self doubt creeps in because you are too damn scared to go all in, to burn the boats, and to just do what you really want to do. And this is a typical pattern of a nice guy. You hold yourself back, you stay in fear, you stay in this insecure, feeling, and you don't fucking do what you're supposed to be doing because your heart tells you do this, do that, but you don't do it, right? I'll give you a story because I'm a recovering nice guy. I was dealing with this for many, many years throughout my childhood. And it started to break when I went out and meet women. This was my way out. As a nice guy, the biggest thing that was scaring me was meeting women. So I started to do that, right? And this broke my shell a little bit. And then I became pretty good at meeting women, at attracting them, having dates, and then sex and all of that. And so I started to teach that to other people who were struggling. Because I was at a certain level of expertise in dating, I could help guys that were struggling with approach anxiety, right? So I started to do this for free, and I noticed like, oh shit, it's actually working. Like, I can help these guys. And so with time, I started to monetize my service, right? The thing is, I still had a job. I was a salesman in a renewable energy company. We were selling educational kits to schools. And on the side, I was doing coaching. But then came a point where, I was not fulfilled doing the sales job. And I knew that I had to let it go. I knew, right? And for some time, I was holding myself back, right? I was doing the dating coaching on one side and doing the sales job on the other, and I was juggling between the two. But then came a point where it was so painful for me to stay in this sales job that I just had to say to my boss, I'm gonna quit, right? And that's what I did. More than 5 years ago, actually. It's a long time. And it was a very, very scary move for me to do because my family was not coming from this background of being an entrepreneur. My dad is a blue collar worker. He works in the factory. My mom, she works at a shop in the airport. So, I come from this family that doesn't have so much money, that never had the balls to actually do what they really want. They always follow the rules, go to school, and then do a normal job, right? Nothing wrong with that. I'm not here to judge. But at the same time, they were not truly following what their heart wanted to do, right? And so I got this from my parents. So it was extra harder for me to actually follow my passion, follow what I really wanted to do. And when I took the leap and decided to go full on coaching, I didn't have a lot of money in my bank account as well. This meant that if coaching wouldn't work, I would have to come back to my parents' place. And at the time, this was I could not even imagine doing this, It would have meant that I'm a failure if I would come back to my parents' place. And so I started to go, full-time coaching. I started to make a good amount of money, but then I hit the ceiling, right? And my money started to go down and down and down and down to the point where I had, I think, 1,200 euros in my bank account. And I was barely making any money. It was a very scary situation. And that's when I took a business coaching at the time, and I just quantum leap everything. I started to make 5,000 euros a month, 6,000 euros a month, 7,000. Then I had a month, 12,000 euros. It was amazing. It was very powerful. And since then, I've been living off my coaching and living pretty well. I've had moments of going broke again, don't get me wrong, but I've been able to provide for my life from my coaching. And my coaching is my passion, it's my purpose. It's like, I cannot do anything else. I asked myself this question a few times in my life where I was like, should I continue doing coaching? Should I do something else? But then when I think about doing something else, nothing pops. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. And so this would have never happened. This would have never become a reality if I wouldn't have the balls to quit my sales job and jump into this unknown terrain of, I can potentially go broke. I can potentially be a failure. I can potentially fuck it all up. Because yes, it was a possibility. But in my mind, there was nothing else, It was either this or nothing, And this is the mentality that you want to start having when it comes down to having your purpose. I'm not saying that you should jump into your purpose right now and burn everything. Because, like I said, you might have a period where you're in between two things, right? You're doing the normal job and you're doing your purpose at the same time. That's a very normal transition to have. But at one point, when you're coaching, I'm talking for myself here, but when your purpose is starting to, form itself, you can see that there's something concrete happening here. If you want this to succeed, if you want this to grow, you're going to have to burn the boats. This has been my experience. And I've seen this happening with guys who try to follow their purpose, but they never fully commit to it. And every single time they fail. Because at one point in your journey, you have to burn the boats. You have to have the balls to actually do what you're supposed to do. Now, I know that some of you are going to tell me, well, I don't know what my purpose is right now. I want to challenge you on this because maybe you have an idea of what your purpose should be. Like it should be so noble, it should be impacting the world, it should be like this very positive thing. But maybe it's not the right time to have such a purpose where you impact the world, right? Maybe your purpose right now is to build a skill, right? Maybe your purpose right now is to meet women, as crazy as it sounds, and become really good at this, If I look back at my life, when I was 21 years old, when I started to meet women, my purpose was meeting women. There was nothing else in my reality that was more interesting than meeting women. And I became so obsessed at meeting women and mastering the art of attracting women. I really became obsessed. I watched all the videos out there. I started to practice different things. I was a mad scientist at one point, And this was my purpose. And I know that it's maybe not the most noble purpose. And if you've read The Way of the Superior Man by David Data, you know that woman shouldn't be your purpose. Well, I don't agree with this because sometimes you need to, fully focus on something because this is what you feel pulled to do. And you need to honor this. There's nothing wrong. And if this thing is not noble, it's okay. You're not at this stage of doing something noble, right? Nothing wrong with that. We are all in our self-development journey. Some people are at a certain stage, some other people are at a different stage, and that's okay, Maybe you're not supposed to have a coaching helping guys with the nice guy syndrome. That's not what you're supposed to be doing, and that's fine. Maybe you're supposed to have a garden and grow plants and sell remedies with these plants. Maybe you're supposed to be a salesman because you love talking, you love influencing, you love negotiation and all of this. Maybe you're supposed to be in politics. I don't fucking know, man. That's up to you to find out. But what I truly believe from working with men for the past 6 years now, it's becoming a lot, is that every single man I have talked to in my journey has a gift. Don't be ashamed of that gift, because this gift can be the most simple thing, right? For example, I had a client one time who was really into beatboxing. He loved doing beatboxing. It was his whole passion. And I remember telling him, brother, if this is your thing, go all in. And so I told him, you need to post on YouTube. You need to post on Instagram. Like, put yourself out there, brother. You need to let it all out. And he started to do this. So whatever is your gift, don't be ashamed of it, my brother. My gift, from my experience, and this is what I truly believe, is to help people, to be in service of people. Because I have this very powerful intuition. If I talk to you for a few minutes, I already know so much about you, right? I have this, I don't know how to explain it, this thing where you feel someone and you can just know certain things about this person. I have this gift. I didn't have to learn this. I started to coach other people and I had this instinct of knowing what's truly going on for someone. That's my gift. But for some other people, they don't have this. And it's cool. Like, what's the problem? Maybe your gift is to make music. Maybe your gift is to make art. Maybe your gift is to convince people to sell. Whatever it is, you need to honor this and go all in. Face your fear. Remember, the path of the most resistance is going for what scares you and relaxing as you do it. This is literally the essence of the work that I teach to you guys here in this YouTube channel, that I teach in the Wildman Brotherhood. And if you do that long enough, the fruit will come to you. They will. You need to just have faith in your heart that this is a possibility. Okay? Thank you for watching. If you're interested to get guidance from me, I have created the Wildman Brotherhood, where you can get personal voice note coaching. I can help you with people pleasing, with removing seeking validation, with finding your purpose. In fact, in the Wildman Brotherhood, you have a purpose masterclass that help you identify at which stage you're at in your journey and actually then follow what is the right thing to do. So it's a really powerful masterclass. You can click on the link in the description. There's all the details there. It's $47 a month, so it's pretty cheap. And there's tons of bonuses. There's a community, so you get to connect with other guys. It's really cool. So I would love you to join in. And if not, it's all good too. I see you, my brother.